I will now open the floor to questions, and again, I will remind you to keep the questions to questions. I know that people have a lot on their minds, but we want to get as many people asking questions as possible. To the woman in the striped shirt at the microphone.
Thanks. I guess I'm living proof that accessibility isn't just about wheelchairs. Excuse me for those who sit in them, but when you're blind, the world's a different place. And the kind of accessibility that I'm talking about, or would like to talk about, and remind every candidate that's here, is low tech, low cost, and has to do with attitude. For instance, when I walk down Yonge Street, and I'm tripping over signboards, signposts, patios, things in the way, does that make my world accessible? It makes me really upset to think that the TTC does not have enough money to clean up. When we count how many dollars into H1N1 last year, and if I'm a blind person, I have to touch the railing. I have to hold on to the TTC. I have to use my cane and do the TTC shuffle with a garbage bag on the end of my cane, or a coffee cup, or a piece of plate stuck onto my cane. The service dogs can't go under the seat because half of them won't eat the crap that people leave behind. And I could go on, but out of respect, I won't. When I came to Toronto to live and look for work, I picked an apartment so that I could walk and get exercise, walking back and forth, about 4 blocks to the TTC. The second year I was at my apartment, I tripped and injured my knee over a gas meter that was stuck out into the walkway. When we plan areas, how is it that you can mandate a 22-story apartment building and the sidewalk's only 30 inches wide? So I can't pass somebody in a stroller or a wheelchair and a stroller can't pass in safety. Why aren't sidewalks that are, this city was built, a lot of the sidewalks were built in a depression, and they were the pride of the city people who built them. And today we're just letting them be broken up. And when it's icy, and the mayor's office decided you don't have to clean till there's 2 centimeters of snow on the sidewalk. By then I'm falling and breaking my ankle. And those are the kind of accessibility issues that I'm talking about.
Could I ask you to ask a question, please?
Well, I wonder who's going to do anything about it. Like, is anybody thinking about how it is to get from my house to the subway before I even go there? And then when you get to the subway, things like signage and stuff also need improvement for those who are with me that can see where they're going.
Okay, thank you for your statement, but I'd like Mr. Ford to answer that question, please.
Well, we have to be proactive instead of reactive. And there's city employees. We have over 44,000 city employees. And when you see a crack in the sidewalk or a pothole, it doesn't matter just because you work in the solid waste department, you can't call it in. You shouldn't have to wait till the transportation people have to see it. And we shouldn't have to wait till one of the citizens sees it. There's 44,000. You see City of Toronto trucks all over the place. We should be able to write down the pothole, look up, and see an address and say there's a pothole on 123, ABC Street, or whatever it may be. And it's too bad that we have to always wait until someone complains about it. We have to start being proactive. With respect to the TTC, I can tell you where they're really losing a lot of money on these, and it really irks me that 21,000 people get on the bus for free, starting with councillors and all 4 board members. They should be paying $3. If everybody had to pay to get on the TTC, that's an extra $22 million of revenue that we would have to help you out. And to see the problem that we had at St. Clair right-of-way, we budgeted $43 million for the St. Clair right-of-way, the streetcar. We spent over $120 million. That's mismanaged by $80 million. You add 80 and 20, there's $100 million that has been mismanaged by the TTC. I think the TTC needs an overhaul, and again, if I'm fortunate enough to be your mayor, I will guarantee we're going to overhaul and streamline how things work, and I'm going to tell the bylaw officers, I'm going to tell the people in transportation and in solid waste, if you see a crack in the sidewalk, if you see a pothole, report it. call it in, let's get it fixed. Don't wait till a pedestrian trips over and then calls it in. We have to be proactive. If you see graffiti sprayed on the side of a window, call it in. We have to lead by example. We're the ones who, you pay, you're the boss, you put food on our table.
Thank you. The gentleman at the
Hi, glad you made it. I have some questions for you, Rob. Just to recap earlier, actually, I was talking to people here in the room about how addiction is a disability here in this province now. Not sure if you're aware of that. My name is Mark Davis, and I'm a drug addict. And for the past 5 years, I've sat on the Toronto Drug Strategy Implementation Panel for the City of Toronto. However, I don't represent them here today. I just have to make that clear. So I've been watching the City of Toronto for the past 5 years and how it deals with addiction, and considering a landmark decision last week, I just want to know from you, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong on hearsay, but I've heard that you want to cut harm reduction programs in the city, and considering the amount of, yeah, you can clap for that, that's what I hear, Rob. I hear you want to cut them. I'm saying no to that. So, what I'm also saying to you is that in the past 5 or 6 years, and in fact, you might have seen it in the news lately, a gentleman with mental health and addictions issues was just, in 2008, was shot by the Toronto Police Service. And I'm getting tired of it, man. I can't deal with it anymore. And quite frankly, people with mental health issues and addiction, like myself, are tired. The only accessibility that we have in the city is seemingly law enforcement. So I guess my statement is, I'd like you guys to smarten up a little bit about that. And I guess my question is, how are you going to do that? All ears.
If there's any, what I experienced, and I went through Seton House, what I found out, and I heard this about 8 years ago, so I followed up with it. I heard that we hand out free cigarettes to the homeless. We spend $30,000 a year on handing out free cigarettes to the homeless, okay? Then I found out that we spend $80,000 on giving free wine to the homeless at Seton House, and they said, it's harm reduction. So I said, okay, let me go and see it for myself. I don't see, and I'm the first one to try to help somebody out who's had some drug issues or alcohol, whatever you want to call. But when I went down to Seton House, and they said, no, you're only allowed to have 72 ounces of wine a day. You're only allowed 9 8-ounce glasses of wine a day. Now, you try to think that 72 ounces of wine every day, and they say, well, we're helping them. How are you helping somebody that's an alcoholic, giving them 72 ounces of wine?
Excuse me, but it's not shooting them in the chest and killing them.
No,
That's how you're helping them? Okay, so you know. I guess what I'm saying is that you have a budget, sir, throughout the year, and a vast allotment of that budget goes towards law enforcement. And what I'm saying to you is now that addiction is a disability, you can bet your bottom dollar, Rob, that I'm going to be following up on this charter issue every single day.
You're very right, and I just wanted to finish off my story. So that's my personal belief, how I didn't think that was harm reduction. With the police shooting people, that's absolutely wrong. And I think we have to take that up with Chief Blair and sit down and find out what the situation is. And I would like to, if you could call me, I'd be more than happy. It'd be pretty tight to meet right now, but I'd be more than happy to meet.
I heard the last phone call that you got from a drug addict. Actually, I think he was using oxycodone, Oxycontin, which is one of the largest drug problems in this province right now. Your answer live on TV was, I don't know what to do for the guy. Quote, unquote. So,
what I want to do is put him in touch with the NPP. As you know, the health system falls under the jurisdiction of the provincial government. And I think if anybody should talk, they should be talking to their MPP if you have issues like that. Or you talk to Dr. David McEwen, the medical officer of health. And that's all I can do is advise you, put you in touch with these people.
So you're not going to cut the harm reduction programs?
I'm sorry, I need to break in here.
Just answer the question, man.
I think that you can have a private conversation with Mr. Ford. very tight for time. I will allow Mr. Mikowski a question, and then we've got to move on. Oh.
My name is Gary Mikowski, and I have a question for you. You said that you would give free TTC passes to people with disabilities and to senior citizens. How many of those TTC passes are free number? How many are you planning to find the funding to do that, give those free passes out? I'm just wondering where that money will come from. The other issue you were talking about as city councillor in your time in work, what is it that you've accomplished for the disability community over that period of time? I'd be interested in knowing specifically what your record is in Toronto with the disabled.
Well, I've never promised, what I want to do is bring it to your attention. I've never promised to get people with disabilities on the TTC for free. What I'm saying, if the situation was, if anyone was to ride for free, I would do everything in my power to see if we could afford to have people with disabilities ride for free and seniors. Right now, we have 21,000 free Metro passes that people, and it starts with councillors. Councillors, former board members, former mayors, ride for free. And I think it's absolutely wrong that we're riding for free. And I said, if we can, and I haven't promised that we can, but if we can, I think the people with disabilities and or seniors should ride for free, but not councillors that make $100,000 a year. Can't they afford to pay the $3 to get on the bus? And what I've done for people with disabilities, I've donated a lot of my own money to help out charities when there are fundraisers. I don't sit back and say here, I always try to donate money. I don't depend on the provincial or the federal government to pass the buck. I try to, well I have, if you look at my website, you'll see where I donated close to $15,000 of my own money to various charities last year. And when people say I donate my money to charities, I actually do. And like I said, if you go to Roy York and Summercrest, the medical center there, the building must be close to 35 years old, and it took me to get a wheelchair lift and a ramp put in to the building. And I sat there, and it wasn't through any provincial or federal or municipal legislation. I went up and talked to the owner of the building, and I said, please do it. It took me a couple of years, but if you go there now, you will see that this building is accessible for disabled people. And that was cute, and it did cost him a lot of money, but you know what? It's irrelevant. It is now accessible to everybody, and I appreciate it, and the community appreciates it. So I will do whatever I can physically and mentally do to get the job done.
Thank you. That will have to be the last question, Mr. Ford. Thank you, Mr. Ford.
Thank you very much.